The smell of charcoal and barbecue sauce hung in the warm summer air when my neighbor leaned closer, smiled at me by the grill, and said, "I really hope you're not married." My heart dropped into my stomach. It wasn't just what she said. It was the way she said it. Soft. Hopeful. Almost fragile. In that moment, the laughter from the backyard party faded into a distant hum, and I realized this wasn't going to be an ordinary evening. Before I tell you what happened next, take a second to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Stories like this remind us how powerful simple kindness can be. And if you enjoy heartfelt stories that stay with you long after the video ends, make sure you're part of our family here at Your Channel Name. Now let me take you back to that night. I had only lived in the neighborhood for 3 months. I moved in after my divorce, looking for a quiet place to start over. The house wasn't big, but it had a small yard, a white fence, and just enough space for a grill. That grill became my therapy. Most evenings, I'd stand there flipping burgers or chicken, letting the smoke rise into the sky while my thoughts untangled themselves. I didn't know many of my neighbors yet. We'd exchange polite waves, maybe a nod or a quick, "How's it going?" but nothing more. Until her. Her name was Claire. She lived next door with her teenage son. I'd seen her a few times pulling into the driveway, always juggling groceries or work bags. She had this calm energy about her, like someone who had been through storms but learned how to stand steady in the rain. That Saturday evening, I decided to host a small cookout. Nothing fancy. Just a few burgers, some music, and an open invitation to the neighbors. I figured it was time to stop hiding behind my fence and start acting like part of the community. To my surprise, people showed up. Kids ran across the lawn. Someone brought potato salad. Another neighbor brought lemonade. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink, and for the first time in a long while, I felt something close to happiness. That's when Claire walked over. She was wearing a simple summer dress, her hair falling over her shoulders. She smiled politely at first, thanking me for hosting. We made small talk. Work. The neighborhood. The crazy heat wave. And then she stepped a little closer to the grill. She looked at my left hand. I wasn't wearing my wedding ring anymore. She smiled, but there was something nervous in it, and said, "I really hope you're not married." I blinked, caught off guard. "No," I said quietly. "I'm not." She let out a breath I didn't realize she'd been holding. "Oh," she said. "Good. Now, if this were a different kind of story, maybe it would turn into a simple romance. But that's not what this is about." Because right after that, her smile faded just a little. And she said something that changed everything. "I'm sorry," she added quickly. That sounded strange. I don't want to make the same mistake again." I didn't understand at first. But then she told me. Claire had been married for 15 years. Her husband left 2 years ago, not for another woman, but for himself. He said he needed space. He said he wasn't ready for responsibility anymore. And just like that, she was raising a teenage son alone. She told me she hadn't allowed herself to even look at another man since then. She had built walls so high she couldn't see over them. "But you seem kind," she said softly, looking at the grill. "And kindness feels safe." That word stayed with me. Safe. We stood there, the fire crackling between us, and for the first time in months, I felt understood. I told her about my divorce. About how it wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet. Cold. 2 people who slowly stopped choosing each other. We both admitted something that felt almost embarrassing to say out loud: we were lonely. But here's the part that matters most. Nothing dramatic happened that night. No grand confessions. No romantic kiss under the stars. Instead, something better happened. We listened. Really listened. We talked about our kids, our fears, the pressure of pretending we were fine for everyone else. We laughed about burnt burgers. We admitted we didn't have everything figured out. And when the party ended and everyone went home, Claire did something small but unforgettable. She picked up the trash bags. "You cooked," she said. "Let me help." It wasn't just about the trash. It was about showing up. Over the next few weeks, we started talking more. Not in a secretive way. Not in a rushed way. Just two neighbors sharing coffee on the porch. Sometimes her son joined us. Sometimes it was just quiet conversation. One evening, her son's car wouldn't start. I had some jumper cables in my garage. I walked over without hesitation. Another afternoon, I came home to find a small plate of homemade cookies on my doorstep with a note, "For the grill master." It wasn't romance that built the bridge between us. It was kindness. Simple, everyday kindness. One night, Claire told me something that broke my heart a little. After my husband left, she said, I started believing I wasn't enough. Not interesting enough. Not exciting enough. Not lovable enough. I shook my head. That's not true. But it feels true, she replied. And that's when I realized something important. Kindness isn't just about opening doors or helping with groceries. Sometimes it's about reminding someone of their worth when they've forgotten it. So I made it a point to notice things. I complimented her strength when she handled a tough situation with her son. I thanked her for her cooking. I told her I admired how she balanced work and home without complaining. And slowly, I saw her stand a little taller. Weeks turned into months. We weren't rushing toward a label. We were building trust. And trust grows best in the soil of kindness. One evening, we were back by the grill. Just the two of us. The sky looked the same as that first night. The air smelled like charcoal again. She smiled at me. You know, she said, when I told you I hoped you weren't married. I was terrified. Why? I asked. Because hoping again felt dangerous. I understood that. After heartbreak, hope feels risky. Kindness feels risky. Opening up feels risky. But what I learned from Claire, and what I hope you take from this story, is that kindness lowers the risk. It creates space where people can breathe again. Eventually, we did start dating. Slowly. Carefully. With honesty. We met each other's families. We supported each other's kids. We had disagreements, sure, but we chose respect every time. And it all started with a simple smile by the grill. Sometimes we think life-changing moments have to be dramatic. But often, they're quiet. They happen in backyards. In small conversations. In moments where someone decides to be gentle instead of guarded. If I hadn't hosted that cookout, if she hadn't walked over, if either of us had let fear win, we would have missed out on something beautiful. Kindness isn't flashy. It doesn't trend on social media. But it changes lives. It changed mine. So here's what I want to leave you with. Smile at your neighbor. Host the cookout. Offer the jumper cables. Leave the cookies. Tell someone they're enough. You never know who is standing behind a wall, just waiting for a safe reason to hope again. That night by the grill didn't just start a relationship. It restored two hearts that had quietly given up. And if kindness can do that for us, imagine what it can do in your own neighborhood, your own workplace, your own family. Let's be the reason someone feels safe enough to smile again. Because sometimes, all it takes is one simple moment of kindness, to turn a stranger into something much more. And who knows? Maybe your life-changing story is already waiting by the grill.